friends, it's Julie, and today I'm going to talk about a video that is not sponsored, but it is about products from a specific company. I really like the products from this specific company, so I wanted to just kind of talk about them a little bit like I normally do with funnier little reviews and stuff that I do. That said, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I don't sleep very well. I have been focusing on improving my sleep quite a bit over the last while, doing many different things. I meditate, I do sleep meditations now. I wind down for a long time before bed. For an hour before bedtime, I do not have any bright light exposure from phone screens, computer screens, the light therapy that I do for my rosacea, even bright lights in the room. I dim things down just to kind of promote melatonin production and all that kind of jazz. It has made a big difference. I still suffer from occasional insomnia. I don't know if that will ever be something that's out of my life entirely, but it has made a big difference. And from the perspective of somebody who does have chronic insomnia, you can tell when something is making a difference, because even if you're just getting a few more hours of sleep and you're getting it regularly, that's obvious, and it means that I can drive all the time, for example, because I'm not so completely overtired that I won't be able to operate a large vehicle. As you'll have seen from the title of this video, the product, or at least the brand, is Natural Calm. It's basically a magnesium supplement. If you get the unflavored one, then the ingredients are magnesium carbonate and citric acid. That's it. That's what's in here. It is a fine powder. Let's just show you what I'm looking at. I've purchased these. They sell them online. They sell them at my local drugstore. They sell them in a growing number. I've started to see them around. At first I had to look for them. I hunted them down, but now I'm actually seeing them around in various places. And the idea is, I don't know if my camera's going to show it, but I'm going to try anyway. The idea is that it is, oh, it kind of shows. So it's that powder in there. It's super fine. And it's just essentially magnesium. It's in a form that is very easy for the body to absorb. A lot of magnesium supplements are out there, but not all of them absorb very well. If you go onto their website, I will put a link to their website in the description for this video. They do kind of explain why they choose the type of magnesium and why they sell it this way as opposed to in tablets and stuff like that. The way that you use this is you add it to water. It can be cold water or it can be hot water. It's the winter time, so I prefer hot water. Plus, when you add this to water, when it's hot water, it does all of its ionic stuff right away, so it becomes clear right away. If you put it in cold water, it's cloudy and then you have to wait for it to clear up. It takes a couple of minutes. It's really not long. I personally kind of like the sort of bubbling up and sort of visible action when you use the hot water. Just make sure you don't have it bubble up and over your mug onto the counter like I did the first 3 times that I tried this. So apparently I don't learn very quickly. So it says magnesium carbonate and citric acid, when combined with water, create ionic magnesium citrate, and that is easiest for the body to absorb. Magnesium is something that the vast majority of us are deficient in. It's a really weird kind of mineral because it's in and out of the body within about 12 hours. So if you have a whole ton of it, 12 hours later, it's no longer in the body. I use about half of what it says on the bottle, if only because I do get magnesium in some of my other food sources and things, and I'm only using it once a day. So I use about just slightly under 1 teaspoon, and I have that about an hour. I start kind of sipping that about an hour before I start my winding down routine every night. So I have the original unflavored one, which I also got. I got a really big one. It's not quite the full size, but I got a really big one when I went to the CHFA trade show, the CHFA East, because I made a point to meet these guys because I love their product so much and I really wanted to learn more about them so that I could do this video. Such a great company, absolutely lovely. And I'll talk about how socially responsible they are later on in this video too. They just impress the socks off me. And again, this is not sponsored. This is just me like fangirling all over the place, this like magnesium supplement company. They also have a lot of other flavors. They have orange flavor, which is empty now, which makes me sad, but like I will get another one eventually. But I hung on to the bottle so that I could show it for this video. There's also organic lemon. The flavored ones also have the magnesium carbonate, but the non-medicinal ingredient citric acid again, and organic lemon flavor and organic stevia. So then this one would have, the orange one would have organic orange flavor and organic stevia. It's not that sweet, but it's just a hint of flavor. I really like it. My best friend really likes the plain one, so I gave her my free sample because she is such a fan of that, and she uses it too. So because I've got my one here anyway. So, but I also have, they have so many other flavors. I have this sample pack of, they have original raspberry lemon, they have sweet lemon, orange, and cherry flavor. I like all of them except for the cherry flavor, which to me reminds me too much of the cough medicine I had to take as a child. That is just something inside my own head. It probably doesn't taste like that to normal humans. They also, when I was at the event, I got this sample for Natural Calm, their Calm Full Sleep. It's specifically meant like to help you sleep even more. It's got melatonin in it. I'm not sure how I feel about melatonin yet, so I haven't taken it. And also, I think melatonin is something that to benefit from it, you're supposed to take it over time to reset your circadian rhythms. It really helps people, for example, overcome jet lag and stuff like that, or if they're shift workers. So I'm just not there yet. I'm sure it's not harmful or anything like that, but I'm just so over the top careful about all the stuff that I'm doing that I just haven't tried it yet. I will eventually. I'm sure there's going to be some time when I'm so suffering from so much insomnia once again that I will just go, you know what, this could work, so I'm going to try it. They gave me a whole pile of really awesome information about it. I don't know if my camera will pick that up so that you could hit pause and read it, but this is what it says. It's super interesting. I just don't know that it's for me. I haven't decided yet, and I may. They have a new product out, the Natural Calm Calm Balance. I'm really looking forward to trying that. I think that will be the next one that I buy. It just goes a little bit above and beyond just magnesium. It also has B vitamins and things like that in there. And I know that B vitamins are helpful for regulating stress and anxiety and that kind of thing. So I figured that couldn't hurt. So the whole reason that I give a flying fadoo about magnesium is not just that we don't, most of us don't get enough of it in a day, or we don't have enough of it consistently in our bodies. But it also has a lot of research support behind it. When your levels are low, then it leads to stress, fatigue, and low energy, inability to sleep, irritability, and other symptoms. Because I have those symptoms, I thought maybe one of the reasons for it could be that my magnesium levels are low, and therefore I have started to take magnesium to help to remedy that. I feel better when I take it, so I don't think that this is a cure, because my symptoms go a lot deeper than that, but I think that it contributes to helping. And every little bit counts for me. And one of those tubes of magnesium lasts for so long, and it's a very enjoyable, calming part of my evening, then I don't mind continuing to take it. But again, I mentioned that they're also very socially active, and I really appreciate that in companies. I'm using products from a number of companies now that not only do something great, and I like their product and I believe in their product, but they also do something great somewhere else, whether they brag about it or not. And in the case of Natural Calm, they are a major supporter of a charity called Organics for Orphans. I have their pamphlet here that I was given at the event. The way that I understand it is that in a lot of parts of Africa and other parts of the world, when large farming and chemical fertilizers and stuff like that came into play, then a lot of farmers, to make more money, bought cheap fertilizers and stopped growing all the individual many different kinds of foods that they grew traditionally, and started growing massive crops that they could sell for more money. And they were making money and they were doing fine, and then they lost the traditional knowledge over time of how to grow all of those different kinds of foods that had been feeding them and their family and their communities. And then the fertilizers became increasingly expensive. It became more and more expensive, prohibitively so, to maintain the kind of farm that they had been farming with the huge fields of the same kind of crop, and they stopped being able to afford to do that. So a lot of areas and a lot of large regions with large populations have lost the ability to feed themselves. They can't make the money to buy food, and they don't have the skills and knowledge anymore to grow it themselves. So what this organization does is it steps in there with sustainability programs to help educate and supply current and future farmers so that they can grow the types of crops that will feed themselves and their communities, and that will be profitable for them, and that will be sustainable, and that will be resistant to disease without necessarily depending on all the chemical fertilizers and stuff like that that caused all the problems with them in the first place due to cost and issues like that. So they've got, I'll show this too. I'm not, doing a sales pitch for them for Organics for Orphans. I just think this is a really impressive cause. It's not just providing food for example, it's not just, you know, saying, okay, you're in a rough situation, so here's the food you need to get through it, but it's saying, here's the food you need to get through it, and while you're eating that, why don't we get some education so that you can step back onto your own farms and grow sustainable crops that will feed you. And so super impressed with that. They have workshops, garden managers training programs, growing health seminars, and college level training. It is called Organics for Orphans, but they basically target some of the most vulnerable communities. It's not just orphans, but it says they work to change communities. So they focus on areas that are slums, orphanages, HIV groups, schools, community groups, prisons, refugee camps, and medical clinics. That's seriously awesome. Talking to the gentleman who represented this program at the event was an extremely, it was one of the highlights of my entire time at the event, and it was a huge 2-day event. I was exhausted afterwards. It took me more than a week just to emotionally recover from having to go out and be that social for that long with all of my anxiety nonsense going on in my head. I recommend checking out, I will put a link to Organics for Orphans as well as the Natural Calm, but I just wanted to sort of talk about this all around because the more sleep I get, and so aside from the Organics for Orphans, but going back to the magnesium, the more sleep I get, the better I can control my stress and anxiety levels. And the more I can control my stress and anxiety levels, the better my rosacea symptoms are. That has a really big impact. It's surprising the difference that sleep can make in a lot of different areas of life. For me, it's that. And to me, Natural Calm has been making a big difference. A very good friend of mine recommended it to me, and at the time they had an option on their website which may or may not still be there. If I can find it, I'll put it, that'll be one of the links that I put in the description for this video. But at the time they had an option that you could try all of that. You could basically get one of these sample packs with one of all of the flavors, and so I ordered that, and I took advantage of that, and I really immediately liked the difference. So that's when I ran straight out to the local drugstore and bought the big tubes of it. I've been working on the same 3 ever since, and I think it was last November that so it's been about a year that I've been using this now, and I'm still on the 3 original tubes. I mean, I am like working my way through it. They're not cheap, but they do last a very, very, very long time, so they're more than worthwhile. I think the only complaint that me and my friend who recommended it to me have ever had is that they once had this temporary flavor, and it was watermelon, and it was so awesome. It's her absolute favorite one, but it was temporary, so they stopped making it. So if only they would bring watermelon back, we would be really happy. But other than that, the flavors are good. I definitely have my favorites. I use it every night. I plan to keep using it every night. When I traveled, I brought one of my sample packets with me. So I just have been waiting to share this with you, and I'm finally making videos again, so here it is. So yeah, so I hope you liked this video. I hope it was interesting. I hope it was helpful in some way, even if it's just a matter of like learning about magnesium for the first time and the difference that it can make, and maybe finding out whether or not that's something that is affecting your calm, your stress levels, your ability to sleep, and therefore your rosacea symptoms. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That way I will know. And if you want to see more videos like this, or the ones where I use products directly on my face, or anything else that has to do with rosacea and my rosy lifestyle, then I hope you'll subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell if you want to receive alerts every time I add a new video. And other than that, I will see you next time.